September 11th, the United Nations World Court collapsed into its own footprint at free fall speed. And now the legal apparatus, where the diplomacy that we have become accustomed to for the past 80 years used to take place, is subject to rules which were never considered legal on the land before, whether or not loopholes permitted such practices. Net corporate got a hold of some secret projects and cranked it up to 11. And bad enough that I shouldn't have to deal with these normies before I'm allowed to conduct my affairs with Washington, because it's not like Washington has a say in the matter. If you came up to me at my guard post without getting blown up and said the French are attacking from Canada, I would be obligated to relay that message to someone, who would decide our next whether we should do something about it. I know I am ugly as sin, but I can't imagine anyone watching this and just kicking back like all the stuff I'm talking about in favor of like trying to substantiate whatever got sold without my knowledge or consent or a valid reason to think that they could get away with that, unless they were just going to try to kill me first, which they did in 2015. I know I'm poor, but I can't imagine anybody looking at the stuff that I'm trying to tell you people and just being like, well, he's ugly, unless you represent the third world. We're the gay mafia. The gay mafia is protected by the third world because they're an excuse to come protect us, since we obviously can't protect ourselves. But all you got to do is tell them it's the kid's fault. That's like their village custom. And then they kick the kid around for 10, 15 years. And then they're like, you ready for your big break? 72 virgins, and they strap a suicide vest to them. Washington acting like it's a budget item. I'm a Jackson, you dopes. So if there's anything legit about it, it's either, if the court is not, allowed to acquiesce to my request for due process for dead people, because inclined, the court is not inclined, then they could say, like, the court is not inclined. If they lack the authority, if it's for voting to say it's Chris Christie's fault, well, I'll just have to figure it out on my own, won't I? I don't know what they told him. Oh, this guy survived the army. Oh, he's late for his date with Destiny. I heard that a little birdie told me child stars who get raped in New Jersey hospitals have short careers in Hollywood. Flat Earth is looking for some Scotsman who ate a baby. Sure, it's not just all Scotsmen everywhere, since Idi Amin is the new king and owner of Scotland and all its people. Europe and all Europeans, we all look the same. Since we abolished slavery, all they can do is catch you, fuck you, kill you, fuck you again, and eat you. Number one, first do no harm, or you assert no more authority to conduct these sort of arrangements on our behalf than any of us, and the fraction of a crumb that you got of what was stolen would have been worth more to the rest of us not to. So I wrote to my senator and I said, Senator, the KKK is calling Catholics faggots so that they can torment them until they learn how to sell cocaine or shoot up a school. I don't know how much Christie knows. They call him Fat Patsy. So, not just them, but they do. I said the mayor has a go-ahead. Giuliani, have anything? Said the truth isn't true. I was like, you're goddamn right. It's called a watchtower, Mayor. They mimic and shun and assign their own crazy meanings to common words. A lot of social engineering went into getting this batch prepared for the end. And I hate to say they were koshered. They were groomed. They were raised. They're a bunch of brainwashed Canadian test tube foster kids, selectively bred for this specific purpose, just fail on our behalf, raping the Irish in surgery and blaming the Italians so they can protect the Irish from the Italians, and that turns into a thing. And now I'm like, they shot Reagan and St. John Paul II. The broadcast mass media zombie apocalypse we were witnessing before our eyes was devised by economic thinkers who wrote between Karl Marx and Adolf Hitler. Of course, at the time, they had no idea the awesome potential that the talkies would eventually. And when Eisenhower said, in the halls of governance, we must guard against the unwarranted acquisition of power, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex, not drag it back and forth through Vietnam until it's dead, but that's what we did. Now we got the flat Earth, got the Stone Age pushing us around through, clandestine channels. And when the Berlin Wall came down, they were like, oh yeah, we won. We won what? The Great Wall of Mexico? We were supposed to have flying cars by 2021, and some blooming idiot put a black girl on the cover of Time magazine. IBM's the first company in American history to go bankrupt with an active defense contract. Instead of flying cars, we got Florida healthcare. Drain the swamp, dredge the Everglades. I heard they were baking hand-tossed pizzas in there. First, do no harm, you're just not a doctor. It's the law, not a law. Like, the United Nations forced us to the table with these flat earth camel ranchers, and then it collapsed into its own footprint, and now we're like, we owe you how much? 2 planes minus 3 towers. You can get back in your boat. If Sir Isaac Newton can't afford it, I can't afford it. Cashless society, these nuts